Jungkook was resting on the bed after his really tiring effort of changing clothes. As he was resting, Wine knocked on the door and came inside with the tray of food. Wine smiled when she saw him, for she said, "You did change the clothes. Let's eat now." She sat beside Jungkook while saying, and offered him a bowl of rice. Jungkook stared at it without taking it, for Wine noticed it and said, "Uh, I'm sorry. This is all I have right now." "No, it's not like that. I like rice too. Thank you," he said while taking the bowl and didn't eat it at all until Wine took a bite to make him sure that there isn't any poison or anything. As he was eating, a bite got stuck in his throat, for he started coughing badly, while his face and eyes turned red. Wine looked at it and quickly made him drink water by getting the glass close to his mouth. Instead of drinking the water, Jungkook threw the glass immediately and handled his coughing all by himself, and then said, "You mixed something in the water, right? Enough fooling me. I won't be tricked anymore." Wine. Don't drink it if you don't want. Keep coughing if that's what you want. But I'm not playing any tricks at all. Believing me or not is up to you now, she said, and then took a sip of the water. Jungkook. Believe you? Okay, tell me. Why are you so nice to me? You surely want something from me, or rather want to kill me. There's no way a stranger is making food for me without any conditions. I don't know what happened to me that I decided to stay here. Wine looked in his eyes and knew he was suffering too much for saying all this. She said while looking in his eyes, "I don't know what kind of life you lived that you think of me like that. You can eat this food or go away from here. I won't harm you at all." Wine was looking in his eyes, for his eyes softened up and almost had tears in them. For he said, "Then why? Why would you do all this for me?" She held his hand softly, for he looked at it and felt the warmth. Wine. I don't know if you ever heard this, but there are so many good people in the world too, who would do kindness without thinking of a reward. Jungkook, while looking at her hand, said, "This can't be true. I don't believe this. Why did I never met someone like that then?" Wine. You did know. Ain't I kind? Jungkook looked at her when she said this, for he was lost in her eyes for the first time. He tried to control his tears and started eating the food on the table, while constantly stopping his tears. He was eating too fast to distract himself from crying, while Wine went outside to get the brush to clean the floor up, which was filled with pieces of glass. Jungkook looked at her doing that and felt bad for her, as she was already doing too much for him. "I'm sorry for this. I would have cleaned myself if I could get up," Jungkook said with a concerning tone, for Wine smiled and said, "It's okay. It doesn't even take a minute. Here, I'm done." Jungkook, thank you. Wine went outside to throw the garbage and came back to eat her food. She ate together, and as he was done, he kept looking at her until she finished it. Jungkook, Why won't you ask me about myself? Wine. Actually, I took you home because I couldn't go to the hospital. I can't tell you the reason right now. But now that you're already here, I don't need to ask about you, as you will be leaving in a few days anyway. Jungkook. Leaving? I will have to leave you? Why? You don't want to? Vine said carelessly while eating her food. Jungkook. No, I mean, I never met someone like you, so it just came out of my mouth. Sorry. Vine. You say you never met someone kind, but you keep saying sorry and thank you to me, as if it's a habit. Jungkook. Oh, sorry. No, I mean. Vine started laughing, for he looked at her with admiring eyes. As he was lost in her, she said, I'll go for today. I won't close any of our doors, so if you want something, you can call me. Why don't we sleep together? Jungkook was lost in her, so he said words in his heart, without realizing what he was even talking. Vine stopped at her place, as she never thought about something like that. She just said some comforting words to him, but he crossed the limit. She was about to have the thought again that all men are same. But before she had that thought, Jungkook said, I can sleep on the floor. Why don't we sleep together in one room? I can't have you sleep on the couch because of me. Vine sighed when she said, Oh, you meant this? It's okay. You can sleep on the floor with the injured back. I have a habit of sleeping on the couch anyways. I will be fine. Don't worry too much and just sleep, she said, and after switching off the lights, she went outside the room, while the tray of food was in her hand, to take it out. Jungkook lay down thinking about her, and this was the first night when he could sleep without any tensions about his safety. In the next 3 days, Jungkook and Vine grew close to each other. They never talked about their past to each other, but shared their problems that they faced in these 3 days. She took utmost care of him while he had some cash that he gave her to get food and other useful things. Jungkook never asked her about her past, as he himself didn't want to tell her about his past. But they stayed together and shared their worries and happiness. After 3 days, Vine was making breakfast for him, that he came in the kitchen. Vine. Oh, you're here? I was coming in the room, but now you sit here. Did you just walk by yourself? Jungkook. Yes, I did. I wanted to show you the first thing in the morning and tell you that you were the biggest motivation for me. She stared at him for a few seconds before she screamed in happiness with her arms in the air. Her lips smiled widely, and she quickly went to hug him without realizing. This was how happy she was. Jungkook was struck and dazed at his place. He didn't know anything else to do other than hugging her back. She was hugging him tightly, but he slowly moved his hands and hugged her to actually feel the warmth and provide her with the same too. When she realized he hugged her back, she felt happy. She felt the comfort and warmth and wanted to stay here forever. She rested her head on his chest while hugging him. After all the days they spent together, it was hard to leave the other person, as they will both feel lonely again. To fill this loneliness, Jungkook decided to make her his and make her a reason that he wants to live for. When she broke the hug, she slowly looked at him with shy eyes, while he looked at her for a few seconds before pecking her lips. He was kissing her, but she thought for a minute and kissed him back whatsoever. The kiss got deeper within a few seconds when Jungkook pressed his lips harder on Vine. Vine felt his passion while taking her hands towards his chest. After a minute or so, when she broke the kiss, she looked downwards. Jungkook, um, thanks for kissing me back. And now you won't have to make food alone. I can do that together with you. Now that I can walk, I will help you in everything and I'll not fight with you too much. So, Vine started laughing as she heard him and said, "You don't need to try so hard. I accept you by my heart, and you are more shy than me," she said and started laughing again. He looked at her laughing and felt comfortable immediately, for he said, "You got it wrong. It was never like that when I dated other girls. Maybe I'm still sick. I don't know," he said while straightening his back and putting hands on hips. Vine laughed again and said, "Judging by your criminal personality, I can tell you never dated a girl or never even liked girls around you." She was laughing that Jungkook said, "You don't know me when I was the toast." Vine, "You were a toast? The toast has burnt," Jungkook said while running towards the toaster and taking it out. He looked at Vine with confusing expressions, for they both started laughing in a minute. They made the breakfast together and then ate it together, while putting the toppings in each other's plate. They ate and fed each other too, drank milk while making faces and jokes. The kitchen was filled with their laughter, love, and giggles. They took these laughters for granted, but they never knew they're not gonna last too long. Schneisel boss, we finally found the girl who escaped from you, the man said while smiling and bowing to his boss, for his boss was angry and said to him, "You found Vine, and you're still standing here instead of taking her here." "But there's a problem, boss. The serial killer, John Jungkook, is also with her." Shinizel. "Jungkook? He isn't dead?" He scoffed and felt a sense of excitement. "Take her here when he isn't around. It will be so much fun." To be continued.